Bitcoin Yala, Bitcoin Yala.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Bitcoin Yala. My name is Nadia. Today has brought two headline-making stories that I believe reinforce one simple thesis. Bitcoin's dominance in the crypto narrative is not only intact, it's deepening. We'll break down what happened, how a restaurant chain backed off accepting ETH after a backlash, and how one of the largest banks in the world is gearing up to offer Bitcoin. Let's dive in. First up, Steak and Shake. You may recall that earlier this year, Steak and Shake made headlines by embracing Bitcoin payments at all locations. Today, the fast food/burger chain floated the idea of adding Ethereum as a payment option. They put out a poll on their X, formerly Twitter, account, asking their approximately 468,800 followers, should we accept ETH as payment? The poll received about 48,815 votes, with 53% in favor of ETH adoption. But here's where it gets interesting. Mere hours later, the poll was suspended. Steak and Shake posted, "Poll suspended. Our allegiance is with Bitcoiners." You have spoken effectively. They backed off the ETH idea. They reaffirmed that Bitcoin would remain their sole crypto payment. So why the reversal? Let's unpack. The community reaction was fast and ferocious. Some Bitcoin advocates responded, "I promise if you accept ETH, I will never eat at your restaurant again." Others said merely proposing ETH made Steak and Shake look disloyal to their core crypto customer base. Because Steak and Shake had tied part of its growth, same-store sales up approximately 15% year over year, to support from Bitcoiners, the company likely saw a risk in alienating that base. Even Ethereum's co-founder, Vitalik Buterin, chimed in, not to scold, but to praise the idea of brand tribal alignment in crypto, that a business might choose to stay within one community rather than dilute itself. This episode is a microcosm of a broader dynamic in crypto: tribal commitment, brand identity, and community power. The fact that a publicly traded chain would reverse course based on vocal backlash sends a signal about how powerful the Bitcoin narrative still is. Now, switching gears from a restaurant to a global bank, Citibank, Citi, is preparing to wade deeper into crypto, and that's a very, very big deal. According to multiple reports, Citi is planning to launch crypto custody services in 2026. In practical terms, that means Citi would hold Bitcoin on behalf of clients. This effort has been in the works for 2 to 3 years, combining internal development and potential third-party partnerships. The move is part of a broader repositioning of banks in the crypto space, not just as intermediaries or brokers, but as custodians, infrastructure providers, and gateways into this new asset class. What does this mean? It softens one of Bitcoin's biggest criticisms. Who do I trust to hold it safely? If a giant regulated bank offers custody, that adds legitimacy and lowers the barrier for institutional and high net worth entry. It signals that banks now see digital assets as not just speculative fringe plays, but as products to integrate in their normal suite of financial services. It plays into the narrative that Bitcoin is becoming part of the mainstream financial plumbing, not just the new wild frontier of finance. So put these two stories side by side. Steak and Shake, a consumer brand, tests ETH as payment and quickly retreats under community pressure, reaffirming Bitcoin's primacy in crypto payments. Citibank, one of the world's largest financial institutions, is preparing to offer custody and deepen its exposure to digital assets, including Bitcoin. Here's what I see: cultural dominance and brand loyalty. The reaction to Steak and Shake underscores that for many crypto participants, Bitcoin is more than an asset. It's an identity. Attempting to branch out too fast can be seen as betrayal. Infrastructure catching up. With banks like Citi preparing to support custody and digital asset services, the underpinnings for mainstream adoption are being built. Signaling effect. When legacy institutions move in, it reinforces confidence in crypto's staying power and gives those already in the space more ammunition for their convictions. Bitcoin as the anchor. In both stories, Bitcoin emerges as the foundational reference point, whether in what a brand must not deviate from or which asset a bank must support. So where do we go from here? Expect more headline moments like these, where brands, companies, or institutions test the limits of crypto alliances. Keep an eye on how banks execute on custody and onboarding clients. The devil is in the details: security, regulatory compliance, user experience. For Bitcoin holders, these stories provide both cultural reassurance and structural momentum. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss future deep dives. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Stake and Shake made the right call? Or is the backlash over the top? And how bullish are you on Citi's foray into crypto? Until next time, keep stacking those sats.